Hello, this is our first Q&A. We're answering your questions from Instagram and Twitter. So Tony, let's dig in.
Let's go for it.
We've heard some of these before, some of these are new. How and why did you get into photography? Did you do other jobs before?
Yeah, I've had a lot of other jobs before. Everything from working at a dry cleaning station to I worked at a lot of law firms doing transcribing and stuff because I can type like a demon. But then I spent most of my career doing technical stuff, IT stuff, computer stuff, writing books for Microsoft about networking, and I was doing photography most of that time because I just absolutely loved photography. And then as soon as I could find a way to make a living at it, I did that.
I taught piano for 12 years and was a veterinary assistant and was also just a casual shooter. And I started with stock photography. Okay. How about this one, Tony? What is the best type of lenses for a portrait shoot? My favorite is the 70 to 200 2.8.
Yeah, fast and long. It kind of depends on the camera that you have. But yeah, our top 70-200 f2.8. I know some people like primes.
Yeah, a lot of people like primes.
You can get an inexpensive 85mm f1.8 for most systems, and that's less expensive and will still give you good background blur, and that's about it.
Yeah, I think that's a good lens. I like the versatility of the 70 to 200, and you're not compromising sharpness. It's a really sharp lens, so why not? Let's see. How deeply do you guys wish for a troll/fanboy filter on YouTube? Deeply.
Yeah, not just for myself. We can kind of deal with it because we've developed a thick skin, but there are lots of people out there who would want to make content, and the first thing that they make, they just get inundated with terrible trolls, and then they stop and never make anything again. It is smashing creativity on the internet, destroying a world of free content.
Yeah.
Trolls are awful. They have a massive impact on society.
I'd say it's not so bad for us anymore. And there are some things that there are some filters for YouTube. So, for example, you can just choose to block a word, and it blocks some really hateful,
a lot of words,
hate language, anything really racist or anything like that. And if I see someone being mean to one of our commenters, I'll just take it off because otherwise it just starts this constant negativity in the comments. It can totally hijack the video. So some people are against that. I do that. I don't really care.
It's a classroom environment. Like, people can raise their hand and say things in a classroom, but if somebody calls you a racial slur, you'd probably kick them out of class, and that's kind of what we do.
Yeah, that's what I do. I try to keep it a friendly environment. So, what additional content can we expect for 2016, and what was your favorite episode in 2015? Love the show. Thanks, a gram of Piper. I really liked having guests on the show. So Toby and Christina came, Matt Granger came on the show as well, and those were really fun shows to have guests and have people here. I
think we have to launch our travel show Wanderlust that we've been filming since 2014.
Yeah, we've been working at a travel show for a very long time.
2016.
Oh, and we'll have we have a Photoshop book. It's out now for pre-order, but it will be printed in 2016, so I'm looking forward to that.
And we have a podcast.
And we have a podcast, too.
Starting in January.
Do you and Tony print images and sell them in galleries and such? We've done a few just little local shows, but that's not really our focus. And I think that once you start printing, you have to get really serious about it. So when I go to a gallery show, I see pictures just on incredible mediums and things like that. And right now, that's not the type of photographer I am.
That's the type of photographer I want to be.
Really?
I've put a lot of thought into it, and I just need to be more extroverted. I need to reach out to galleries because so much of it is socialization. And I also think it's like a totally different business, figuring out what will sell in a particular gallery. Like, local pictures where we are tend to sell.
Yeah, but I don't
one gallery
want to.
Artsy picture didn't sell, but your picture of a local landscape just sold, landmark just sold right away. So there's all that kind of figuring out what will sell and what won't sell and developing those relationships.
Yeah, but then you're a sell out. I don't really want to change my art because some grandma wants to buy a picture of a boat. You know what I mean? That's why this is a sweet deal for me. I get to make my money teaching, which I love anyway, and then I get to take whatever picture I want, and I just can't top that. I don't think I can top that. I am new to photography. I'd like to become a freelance/wedding photographer. What would be your suggestions? Can I intern with you guys? Well, we're not wedding photographers, so you probably don't want to intern with us, but there are tons of great wedding photographers looking for a second shooter. And that's a great way to learn the ropes. I mean, there's so much more involved with wedding photography than just the photography. You've got to plan, you've got to learn about locations, you have to learn about posing, you have all of these interpersonal relationships. So I think you're on the right track with interning or being a second shooter.
Chapter 7 in Studying Digital Photography is supposed to teach you how to get through like that first favor wedding that you do for a friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not going to make you into a full professional because that's something that takes years of practice and no choice but being a second shooter.
Yeah. Howie Watts asks, what are both of your dream breakfasts? I think yours is that sandwich from La Belle Aurore.
Yeah, La Belle Aurore in Niantic has a sandwich which is like salmon and like some magical toast.
Magical toast.
Sunny side up eggs. Oh,
it's so really good. I like something savory and something sweet. So I love getting like eggs Benedict, but then having a little bit of like pancakes or something. Do pyromaniacs wear blazers at all times? Yeah, probably.
I can't believe they tricked you into making a pun. It's shameful. See, that's the kind of thing we need filters for on YouTube comments.
Pun filter?
Pun filters.
What do you like about travel photography?
The travel. I like seeing what makes an area unique, because every area has a unique personality, but then trying to capture it is a challenge in and of itself, and it makes you explore an area more deeply. It makes you get to know the people better. It makes you find the most beautiful parts of a location. It just engages you more than you would be if you were just a tourist.
Yeah, for me, I love travel, but then photography just enhances it because not only am I taking in new surroundings, which I love, but I'm documenting them and I'm digging really deep and I'm appreciating them on so many levels.
Yeah.
I love travel photography. Did either of you have a potentially once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to capture something on camera that you missed and it still bugs you to this day? What was it? That's Durham Whisperer. Do you have one?
Yeah, the impetus for me buying a real camera, my Elan 2E film camera, was I missed a shot in Baxter State Park of some amazing moose that were there. They were just like feeding out in the middle of a pond with the sun rising, and it was so spectacular. My shot just didn't turn out. And I was like, I've been obsessed with that ever since and documenting maniacally for the last 20 years.
I can't think of a moment that I missed, but I do go back and look at incredible moments that I got to capture, and I could do better now, which is good because it means that I'm growing, but I just think, I don't know if I'll ever go back there, like the Berlin Cathedral. Mm-hmm. And I think I could really do a better job now, and I wish that I had a chance to redo it.
But it seems like every week there's some moment when I'm like, I wish I had my camera, or I wish I had a different camera or something. Like we'll just be walking the dogs and suddenly there'll be an eagle fighting a dragon or something in the sky, and you're like, why didn't I bring a camera today?
That's true, that does happen. Not the dragon part, but what's the number one piece of video gear that you'd recommend to a photographer who is learning video and wants to take the video quality to the next level?
I mean, I would assume like a tripod. You need a tripod. So what else? What would be the next piece after a tripod?
I almost wonder if they're thinking in terms of like camera recommendations or what else though.
Maybe a
like
good lens.
Or a lens, yeah. It's a question unclear.
Yeah, question unclear.
Oh, I lost my spot.
A nice fast lens is really helpful.
How did you guys meet Siobhan and Justin and become such good friends? I've known Siobhan since middle school. And Justin, I've known you for a while. Justin is a friend of a friend, basically. So all that came together. What's a place that you've always wanted to photograph but haven't had a chance to? Tony, where would you like to photograph?
Oh, my list is so long. African safari, Vietnam,
Cuba.
Thailand, Cuba, New
Rio.
Zealand.
It goes on forever. Sedona.
Monaco.
Yeah,
My list is really
we just
long.
want to go everywhere. What do you enjoy most about night photography?
I actually like the long shutter speeds,
being alone,
the peacefulness and the quiet of it, and the fact that it just forces you to be slow.
Everything looks different and nice lit up, and I like the stars in the sky, but as far as the picture goes, I like how different the light is and the stars and everything. And as far as the experience of taking the picture goes, everything's a bit quieter, and I like being alone, and I like just having those peaceful moments in between exposures where you just have to be patient. At first it's frustrating, and then it just becomes like zenful. I don't know.
Yeah, you're out there for 3 hours and you get like 5 pictures.
Yeah. Let's see. Can you guys afford to live from the earnings of the YouTube channel alone, or is it necessary to have an additional income, photo shoots, ebooks, etc.? We could not live off of the YouTube earnings because we have so many people working on each video. So we have Justin and Tony and I, so dividing it 3 or 4 ways. We also have Siobhan. We probably couldn't do it. But our books help a lot. So we're able to give you free content because a lot of people say, hey, I like your free content, I'll buy your book. And that's really what supports the whole business and lets us put out the free content. So it's like, you scratch our back, we'll scratch yours kind of thing. Kyle Wolf asks, if the world continues with its trend to resolve territory boundaries, resource disputes, and religious debates with violence, notably in the Middle East, would you let Madeline become an international photojournalist if it were her lifelong dream? It's a very dangerous profession, but photojournalists really make a difference by broadcasting the injustices of the world that Americans can't witness firsthand. Would you make the decision for her of whether or not she could become one? So Madeline is my daughter. She's 11 right now. I would have to let Madeline make her own decisions about what she wants to do with her life, even if it's very hard for me. So
yeah, I'd be so proud of her if she wanted to go do something noble and dangerous like that.
Yes, and then I'd never sleep again.
We'd be nervous, but yeah, people have to make their own choices. And when she came back for Thanksgiving, she'd have some awesome stories, right?
No, I wouldn't be able to listen. What percentage of inbound communications is from guys creeping on Chelsea? Actually, not that many. It was in the beginning, it was a lot, and then I just started.
We have some creep filters now, that helps.
Well, I also was just really mean to people. And then they went away.
Yeah.
Only the good guys stuck around.
There's also some women who creep on Chelsea.
Really?
Just saying, we don't need to blame guys.
Matt Granger in Aussie, other than eating Vegemite and hanging out at Photo Plus, what's been your highlight of 2015? Matthew.
Machu Picchu.
I was going to say Machu Picchu
as well.
Yeah,
that was a fantastic trip. Machu Picchu is a fantastic and gorgeous place. And the whole trip, really, all of Peru was just wonderful. Even the time we were in Machu Picchu. Loved the culture and the people. Yeah.
And he already mentioned Photo Plus, but I did like meeting...
It was a lot of fun, yeah.
Toby and Christina and him and Chris and a bunch of our viewers. And it was really nice to just meet some of you and see the people behind the comments. So that was cool. But the Vegemite was also very delicious, a favorite food of mine. Enough photography questions. What's the secret for a successful marriage? Each of you can answer separately.
Thanks. Oh, you just gave us permission to answer separately.
I don't know. What do you think, Tony? Eggs.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something that doesn't sound totally cliche. I mean, first, the most important secret is going to be selecting the right partner, right?
Well, has ours been successful yet? We've only been together for like 8 years.
Well, yeah, how do you measure it? Because I don't think you can measure it in years. Because I know couples who've been together for 40 years and they're miserable, and I wouldn't call that a successful marriage, even if they stay together forever. So I don't think longevity is success, but more happiness. And yeah, it starts with picking the right person. You can't pick somebody who's miserable and not compatible with you and find a secret that's going to make it work it out.
I think it's nice that we're friends. We get along and we have the same interests.
Things in common.
And one thing that I really like is that we treat each other with common courtesy instead of getting too familiar and not just respecting each other's boundaries. But like, sometimes you got to just, even though it's your husband or wife, just treat them kind of like you would treat a stranger. You don't need to be rude. Yeah, you don't have to lose your manners just because you're married. I see couples do that.
Bathrooms.
I'm like, oh yeah, separate bathrooms. Someone asked a question and now I can't find it. How do you stop giving discounts to family? I like that one, and I know what you mean.
Because you know the answer to this.
Well, because the first people to see your pictures and support you are your family, And then, of course, you want to give them a discount, and then they already expect it, so they don't even think the discount is a discount or whatever. If you're really working so much that you can't really fit your family in anymore, I would just mostly treat them like a regular client, tell them how much you charge, which times you have available, and then still give them a bit of a discount. I mean, they're your family, and if things go south for you, they're probably still going to be there for you. If they're good family, if they're bad family, forget about them. But I still give family discounts if I can do the work. And if I can't do the work, I'll just tell my family I'm really busy.
You've been, recommending
other people,
friend photographers for a lot of things.
Yeah. Where are the most stunning locations you have shot in the world, and were they man-made or Mother Nature? That's a good one. So Peru, Machu Picchu was probably one of the most beautiful places. Glacier Park in Montana was extremely beautiful.
Yeah.
Berlin is incredible for night photography.
Definitely man-made. And the Eiffel Tower also just one of the best subjects in the world.
Yeah, Paris is beautiful.
Blue Mosque, I don't know, I didn't actually photograph that
Bruges
well, but it's beautiful.
is insane. It is like you're in like a Disney, it's like you're in a set of a movie or something. It's not even real. Oh, there are a ton of beautiful places.
Kyoto in Japan, really stunning. But yeah, for the man-made features. So both.
If you could do anything outside of photography professionally, what would you choose? #burning question.
Oh, I'm big into filmmaking nowadays. I love video. I know it's very closely related, but quite a bit different at the same time. I love video.
I just like what I'm doing. I don't think I'd do anything else. Maybe one day...
you just hang up your hat?
Maybe one day I'll be forced out of my job, but I really love my job. I get to
Not a professional soccer player?
No, I'm terrible at that. Can you tell a story about how you got to a unique location where you had to convince someone to let you in? No. I got kicked out of Lowe's. I've been in abandoned buildings with security there. Broke into them.
Yeah, I will say, especially when I lived in Boston, I used to do a lot of night photography from buildings. So you'd like try to get into roofs and that type thing. And often security would just let me pass and not let other people pass, but they would let me pass because I looked trustworthy and I had gray hair and I would always dress nicely and they'd just assume I would belong. So there'd be a lot of that, just like, I'm supposed to be here. And they'd be like, he's supposed to be there. And let me walk past.
Wow. Must be nice to be you.
Yeah.
He also asked, how do you work at building a connection with your subjects that helps tease out those great looks? Well, I think everybody handles this a little bit differently, but I usually befriend the models I'm working with a little bit. Sometimes you can't always do that if you just have a shoot. But I do like to meet with people first. I like to get a feeling for if they feel self-conscious. A lot of people do. And I'm just kind of a naturally like jokey person. So I just kind of like to make people laugh and make them feel comfortable with me. And then once they're comfortable with me, they usually trust me to make them look good in front of the camera. That's how I go about it.
For me, it's that period of time when you're setting up the lights and stuff. And you'll tell them just relax for a little bit. I just got to work out these lights and the camera settings, and then use that opportunity to make chit chat.
I think you make me do it.
And yeah, frankly, you handle a lot of it. It kind of depends on the person. You know, if they have something I can talk about, if they're a dude and they're into cars and I see them pull up in, a 65 Mustang or something, I will engage them about that.
Yeah.
If I can find some kind of common ground. But some people, I just don't have that much in common with them. They might be really nervous or something. Yeah, so try to find some common ground and engage them, and just leave yourself. That you're not going to be able to get a good shot in the first 10 minutes anyway until you get them to, be comfortable and confident. So just spend that time doing fake setup stuff and get them to relax a little bit.
Someone wants to know, Daniel wants to know, are Tony shirts affordable? If you're talking about like our Stay Focused t-shirts, I think those are like $20, so that's pretty affordable. If you're talking about Tony's actual clothes here, yeah, those are also affordable.
Yes. Yes.
I should send him links to some of your clothes. Just tell me what you like. I'll hook you up. I think this shirt is Zara. It looks nice on you. I don't know what this is, but you look good. Would you consider doing any videos on iPhone photography in the future? Yeah, I would. Would you?
Yeah, I definitely think that's a field we need to get into. There's even just the basics of it are things that people need to learn.
This person says they learned photography pre-digital age and they're still not 100% comfortable in manual mode. What is your best advice for me? I love photography and want to overcome this mental block. People make such a big deal over manual mode, and it's not hard. You just have to, this is what you have to do. Sit down. There's a bunch of free stuff on the internet. We have a book. I plug it all the time, but I reference it because it's easy. We have a whole section on how to handle this. You just have to know how a few settings interact with each other. Your shutter speed and your aperture and your ISO. And you'll be so surprised that if you just play with it for a little bit, you get a really natural feel for how those things work together, and you just practice. Once you understand the relationship between the three, you'll start to feel really comfortable after probably 3 weeks of just practicing a lot. But also people always think manual mode makes you like this pro, like everyone's like, I shoot M. And that's really corny. You can also use shutter priority, which is really great if you're taking pictures of wildlife, right? They're going to be fast. You know that's your top priority. You don't want them to be blurry because of motion blur. So you'll use shutter priority. That doesn't make you an inferior photographer. So you can learn manual mode, but also know that you can use other settings that work for you.
Yeah, I use manual for video, and then in the photo studio because we have studio lights.
Yeah.
And for night photography because auto exposure sucks at night. And for everything else, it's some form of auto
Aperture
exposure.
priority,
Because why
shutter
trouble
priority.
yourself with doing things that the computer's better at? But we have a video called How to Use Manual Mode, and I promise it will help you because it's just very step by step. It's very simple.
Yeah, it's not hard. People say it's a big deal, but it's not. And let me see if there are any more. I think that might be it. That's it. So, well, there
Thanks
were
for
more,
your
but those are the ones I picked. Thank you for the questions. We'll probably do another one of these if it wasn't too boring. Thanks for watching.
You can ask your other questions in the comments, and we'll
Yeah.
queue them up for next time.
Thanks.
Bye.